Hari Om. Let's start with a prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitatvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the Nidhidhyasana after the Shravana and Manana, that is listening to the scriptures under a competent teacher for a prolonged length of time, and Mananam, reflecting on the teaching without it, so that there are no more doubts left. Still, I am not able to own it because it remains as a Paroksha Jnanam. So in terms of the total, what is involved in that is four aspects involved. One is Ajnanam, another is Avaranam, and Ajnanam is the ignorance, and Avaranam is covering up, and covering up in terms has the two aspects. One is about the Satyatvam aspect of the Brahma, and the second aspect is that is related to the Paroksha Jnanam, and there's a Aparoksha Jnanam where I am the totality. Those are the two aspects of Avarana, and the fourth one is essentially from the Bhranti, a delusion that what I see is real and what I don't see is not real, and that's essentially is Bhranti. So these four aspects have to be get dissolved through the proper Shravanam, Mananam and Nidhidhyasanam. The obstruction for this are Ragadveshas. Ragadveshas are likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes come into picture when I identify myself with the local body, mind, intellect, and perform the action with the notion that I am a doer. That means Prakriti itself, the body, mind, intellect perform the action, but I take the body, mind, intellect as I am the body, mind, intellect. Identification and identification with the inert things, because although I am a conscious entity and the body, mind, intellect are objects which are inert, I identify myself with the inert as I am this, and that's what is called Ahankara, the ego, and that is a problem. And therefore every time I perform an action, because the body, mind, intellect are limited, but my true nature is unlimited, and I don't like the limitations of the body, mind, intellect, because I am taking the limitations as my limitations due to Ajnana. So Ajnana is contributing to not knowing myself is one aspect of Ajnana, or not knowing Brahman is other aspect of Jnana, and not knowing that I am Brahman is the total Ajnana. And because of that, I am taking what I am not as I am and performing the activities in the world as though I am a body, mind, intellect. There is a Kartrutva Bhavam involved, therefore there is a Bhoktrutvam, enjoying the results of the actions, and this Karta, Bhokta contributes to the vasanas, and vasanas propel me Ragadveshas. I like this, I don't like this. Whatever that is conducive to my vasanas, I like it. Whatever is not conducive to my vasanas, I don't like it. So these likes and dislikes are Ragadveshas in every object that I enjoy or I transact with. So every sense object, because there are only five senses, the Shabda, Spursa, Rasa, Gandha. So the whole world is classified under these five categories only, because whether the objects that are seen or objects that are heard. So depending upon how my senses are going to perceive the objects are classified under those five headings. And these five headings or five classifications are through five senses, and the senses bring in not only the objects per se, but clouded by the Ragadveshas. This is Ragadvesha Vyuktaistu Vishaya Nindriyascharan Atmavasya Irvadhi Atma Prasadam Adhigacchati. So this essentially Krishna talks about in the Gita. He says Ragadvesha Vyuktaistu. So the Vishayani Indriyascharan. So this Vishayas, the objects of the sense objects, or always with this raga dveshas covered with, because I am seeing through the mind which is clouded with the raga dveshas. I need a mind in order to see objects, but the mind is already impure because of the raga dveshas. So through the impure mind, or through the goggles of this raga dvesha, I am seeing the world. Therefore, all objects that I perceive are as though involve raga and dvesha. Therefore, I had to abide in myself that which is beyond the mind. Beyond the mind means even the mind is activated. So I have to means who is that I? Again, the mind activated by the consciousness has to visualize that I am, or the activating consciousness is pure consciousness that I have to recognize, that is Atma Vasyai Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. So one transcends all this by attains the peace. Prasadam here is the peace that passeth understanding. Understanding is not intellectual type of peace, it is beyond understanding. That's what peace, pathos, understanding means. That means I am Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sahatma. So it is Shantam Shivam, auspicious, and Shantam. It is tranquil because it never gets disturbed in spite of disturbance of in the transactional world. Because this never touches that. It is asangaha, asangoham, neither at the body level or at the mind level or at the intellect level. I am unattached. That Atma Vasaihi, abiding in that, using the mind and intellect only, that are activated by the Chidabhasa, that is all that are involved in recognition that I am the consciousness that is getting activated here, that I am pure consciousness, not the changing the reflection medium or reflected consciousness. Reflected medium means the mind and intellect, and reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa, that which makes the consciousness as though activated in the subtle body. So the raga dveshas are depending upon the nature of the raga dveshas. One we call it a Prakruta Purusha, another is a Samskrita Purusha. So there is essentially two classifications come into picture. It says Prakruta Purusha and Samskrita Purusha. In other words, raga dveshas are two types. One is enjoyment, selfish enjoyment, indulging in the sense objects as though they are the one that giving the happiness for me. So running after the sense objects with a selfish motive are all the kama propelled activities comes under Prakriti. If my dependence, if I like life itself is nothing but enjoying the life, maja baja, and all that it implies, that I am only Prakruta Purusha, just like animals also. Animals also will go and enjoy whatever that is given to them, depending upon their raga dveshas. So I behave like an animal, and that's what is classified as those are Prakruta Purushas. Prakriti means just as like any other, determined by the Prakriti, by the instinctively living, depending upon the enjoyment of the senses only. But Samskrita Purusha, there are raga dveshas, but raga dveshas are towards the higher. So the one who is performing a puja or vidhi or the japa, upasana, karma yoga, all that again is due to raga dveshas only, but these are of higher nature in the sense that will take my mind as a purification. But even that I had to give up when I want to go to Jnanam. They are only preparation for Jnana Nishtha, or to obtain Jnanam itself, for preparation of the mind so that I can sit through the Vedanta Shravanam Mananam. And for that I need a Samskrutam, that means Samskaram, the mind that has to be Samskaram through the dharmic vasanas. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So artha and kama are bounded by dharma. Dharma is that which supports the whole universe, is what is called dhar. See, that which is dharayati, that which supports the whole universe is called dharma. And that is one who tuned towards the higher dharma, higher values and stuff, that which Krishna talks about in the 13th chapter, Amanitvam Adambitvam Ahimsa Kshanti Rajyavam Acharya Upasanam Saucham Sthairyamatma Vinigraha Indriyarteshu Vairagyam Anahankara Mevacha Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darsam. All that which is in the 24 values that are being talked about are the Samskrutam that purifies the mind so that I can see myself. So in terms of the Ajnana is a main aspect of it that provides the Avarana, and Avarana, I am going from the Tamasic to Rajasic. That is, Avarana is projecting, and in that Avarana there are two aspects. One is the Brahma, the existence of the Brahman. Is Brahma astiva na astiva? I mean, is there Brahman at all? Is there God at all? Is there something superior at all? Is there something that is beyond that of what I can see? That is whether I have a belief or not belief, whether I have a realization through the scripture statement, yes, asti, there is something, because what was there before creation is sadeva saumya idamagram asit egameva advitiyam. Says all the description of the Brahman, they are called avantara vakyani. Avantara vakya means the secondary statements defining the nature of Brahman. Even Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, all the descriptions, Yadadrisham, Agrahyam, Agotram, Avarnam, Atachusotram, Padapani, Padam, Nityam Vibhu, Sarvagatim, Susutsham, Adbhuta Yonim, Paripasyanti, Dhira. So that which is beyond the seeing, beyond all the description is essentially, they're called Avantara Vakyas. They are indirectly proving that there is something beyond that I can see. I cannot see the Brahman, but there is some that supports the Brahman. That understanding at that level is called Paroksha Jnanam. That I have understood the Brahman, now I want to realize Brahman, or I want to experience Brahman. So the second avarana is Brahma Anubhavam. Anubhavam is not there. So a lot of people study Vedanta for years and years, so they have the understanding, and that's called Paroksha Jnanam. Brahma Asti, and that's only one kind of avarana. The second kind of avarana, these are discussed in the Panchadashi by Vidyaranya in the 7th chapter. And in that there are several stages of the evolution, self-realization, and there he talks about 7 stages, and these are the stages in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So in this stage of 3rd and 4th, Paroksha and the Paroksha and Aparoksha Jnanam are discussed, and Nidhidhyasana is talking about from the conversion of the Paroksha Jnanam into Aparoksha Jnanam. That is the second avarana, that is not only Brahman is, because I have studied Vedanta, I understand there is something beyond, and that because of which the whole creation is, and all that is Janma Jasya Yataha. So that is Brahman, which is the from which the whole universe came, by which it is sustained, into which it goes back. All that we have been studied and understood clearly. That means I have faith in the scriptures, even though I don't see Brahman, and what I see is not really real, and what is real I don't see. But now through the scriptural pramana, I understand there is substantive Brahman. Everything is only Mithya or Maya creation only. That much I understood by Shrotavyaha and Mantavyaha. What's not understood is people complain that I have understood Brahman, I have understood Vedanta, or I have studied Vedanta, but now I have to sit down and meditate. Meditate on what? Nidhidhyasana, and meditate on what? On the scriptural statement itself. People say, I have not experienced Brahman. That means you have to listen some more, that's all. Means that it is not an experience like an experiencer and experiencing. That notion is still there. That means there is something other than me for me to experience. If that is the notion, then he has to listen some more Vedanta properly. For that only Mahavakyas come into picture, where Tattvamasi, there is not a a time you are not experiencing Brahman, but now you have to recognize that you are that Brahman, and therefore that becomes aparoksha jnanam, and that is how I have to own that knowledge now. Recognition is required, realization involved, where the self that I am is the self in all. That has to be understood, not understanding as just a thought, but a recognition that I am the totality. That is the experience that I need. Experience is knowledge with the what I have been experiencing. I should have the knowledge so that I can recognize it. One simple example that people give is, there is one fellow came, he doesn't know what is a mango, and he was eating mango, and he was saying, hey, I heard the Indian mangoes are beautiful or very sweet, I would like to experience. He was eating mango and doesn't realize that what he is eating is only mango only, but he says this fruit is good, but I still have to experience the mango. And says, what you are experiencing right now is in fact the mango only. So what I am experiencing right now, there is never a time I don't experience myself. Therefore, every knowledge involves that. Pratibodha viditam matam. So therefore, Nidhidhyasana involves not sitting in one place, closing my eyes. That can also do it. But it is not necessarily a meditation of something higher. It's a recognition of my own self in every perception. That's what Kena Upanishad says. Pratibodha viditam matam. It is that it is revealed in everything. Every knowledge involves the object plus the subject I am. That consciousness is coming into picture. The consciousness and the existence are joining together for me to be conscious of the existence of every object or every thought in the mind. So every thought I know, that means I am conscious of every thought. Every thought is as though soaked in my consciousness, then only I know the thought in full. That means the contents of the thought. My problem is I am getting carried away with the contents of the thought without paying attention to that, because of which the contents of the thought are being revealed, or because of which I am conscious of that. I am not conscious. That means I am not paying attention to it. Therefore, Nidhidhyasana is not sitting down and meditation. It is revealed in every thought, including in the sitting down and contemplating the meditation, where I can turn off all the drishyam and only concentrate on the Vedanta Vichara, that I am the consciousness, because of which the mind itself is an object of my experience. So while experiencing the mind with the thoughts, or experience the mind without the thoughts, whether it's a savikalpa samadhi or nilvikalpa samadhi, I have to withdraw myself, see myself as the thought tree, or witnessing consciousness, conscious of the presence of the mind with the thoughts, or the mind without the thoughts. One is nirvikalpam, another is savikalpam. In both cases, I am conscious of the mind only. Mind with the silence, but I am not silent. People think that I have to be in silent. No, I have to be in silent. That means thoughts are gone, but I am conscious of de-identify myself with the silence, but with the consciousness, because of which I am conscious of the silence too. So therefore, it is not the silence is what I need in a seat of meditation, and I am the Brahman. You may become a silent, and I can become a silent when I go to the sleep state also. But it's not the silence, it is the constant awareness of the silence, and that is the recognition based on the Vedanta, and that is called the aparoksha jnanam. For that only I had to withdraw my mind from the sense indulgence, because when the senses are going, I am paying attention to the thoughts and the vishayas, which are like a visham, like a poison only. All that has to be understood. So in the case of raga dveshas, I am going from a prakrita purusha to samskrita purusha. From that I have to go beyond the purusha itself, where I am pure absolute consciousness. That has to be recognized. And these are being addressed in the Viveka Chudamani Sloka from two aspects. One is withdrawing the mind from all the ragadveshas and then investing the mind into something higher. Investing or recognizing that I am the Brahman and this is all only Mithya. So Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya and Aham Brahmasmi. That has to be all are involved in the recognition or realization or abidance in the self. So I had to move from Avantara Vakyani to Mahavakya Vichara in order to recognize that I am the totality. Why I'm not, it's not an experience like an experience. It's not hunting for an experience. It is recognition that in every experience it is there. It is evident, and I had to pay attention or shift my attention of the mind into that and not to the what I experienced. What I experience comes and they come and go. But this is all the time is there, because in every experience it is getting revealed, and pay attention to that which is constant factor in all experiences, and that is the abidance in the knowledge of I am that. We'll continue this and we'll study some of the Krishna statements also in terms of Nidhidhyasana, where the Sthita Prajna is being discussed there, where Krishna talks about in a way to how to abide in Atmani eva Atmanatushtaha. We'll come back again in the next talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.